Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Usually we do episodes at night, but today we're doing kind of a daytime matinee, if you will. And today's episode is number 374, and we have Dog Brother Badger Jones. And I'm really looking forward to this. I love his staff work. We're certainly going to be covering that, as well as the Canadian chapter of Dog Brothers, what led him to become a Dog Brother, and currently status quo, what he's doing, and all that. So without further ado, here is Badger Jones. Hey there, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about you, Dean?
Good, thanks. And thank you for agreeing to come on. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, so you kind of heard the intro and all that. So before we get into all that great, good stuff and all that nitty gritty fight and all that, what was what was your initial martial arts background before you segue into FMA?
So back in 1982, somewhere, on the rise of when we emerged from the oceans and started breathing air, I did Taekwondo, which I was 16 at the time, and it was kind of mind blowing for me. But if we go a little bit further back, there was a TV station. Forget my cat here. Come here. There was a TV station out of Buffalo, New York, WUTV, that would show either Japanese monster movies or Chinese kung fu flicks, and I wasn't about Godzilla. So anyway, I was amazed by their ability to move and the weapons flying around. I thought that was awesome, and that was always kind of back in my head. And then I got into martial arts. My parents bought me a year at a Taekwondo school, and I thought this was awesome, and that's how I started.
And so how long did you stick with that?
Just a year. So kind of at the end of that year, again, I was in high school at the time. I was a guy in one of my classes, and somehow we managed to find out that we each did martial arts. He did kung fu. I did TKD. We sparred. He kicked my butt, and I thought, hey, that's cool stuff. I want to learn that. So I started. I got introduced to my new teacher. So my year at TKD ran out, and so I met this guy, and it came from this venue of, you walk in, you bow to the flags, you bow to the teacher, you bow to this, you want to straighten your uniform, you bow, you turn away from them and straighten your uniform, and then turn back and bow. And then I met this hippie with kind of filmy eyes and crappy teeth in his basement, long hair. And I gave the sharpest, crispest bow I could. And he kind of stared at me. He says, "You want a beer?" And I thought, yeah, actually I do.
Yeah, actually I do.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. And he says, "Oh, fridge is over there." And I thought, wow, kung fu is the best martial art ever. So yeah, that kind of got me started on Chinese martial arts, and a feel for that basement, backyard, garage feel of how to train.
Okay, outside of so how long were you doing kung fu?
Long time. So that was 83 or so. I moved from Toronto to Ottawa in 89, and I started simultaneously teaching what I had been taught before, and I started training with another teacher there, and I kept doing that. And he eventually retired and gave me at least the name of the school, which was nice of him. And I did that up until 2004.
Oh, wow. You were teaching Kung Fu? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we backtrack a bit. So 91, I met my Arnie Scuro and started training with him. And so my guys had either the good fortune or the misfortune of having to train in both simultaneously, because I'd be teaching them Chinese martial arts, but then be like, okay, I learned this thing and we really need to practice it. So we're all going to do this, and this is all we're doing for the night, so.
So they were getting traditional Kung Fu in addition to what you were just getting far as FMA.
Yeah. Okay. So it was, they were kind of getting whiplash back and forth, but.
Yeah, that's an interesting combination. What
Yeah.
so what was the style as far as the FMA is concerned?
So here's the funny thing. So this is all indicative of large swaths of FMA. So my guru Pete Coates, he would change the name of what he did every once in a while. Just
So you don't know where he really actually came from?
so his background was modern Arnis.
Oh, modern. Okay.
He was part of the modern Arnis collection in Buffalo, New York. So
which
Tim Hartman and all of that,
which was big. I mean,
it was big. I did not realize.
Like he was telling me 8 schools that had a modernist program in Buffalo. I mean, that's statistically that's incredible.
Yeah, really. 8 schools. It's like hey, we're chatting prior. 8 schools. Usually it's 8 students.
You know what I mean? And 8 schools teaching, whether it was full-time, part-time, but still, I mean, in one central location city. Wow. So you got the offshoot of that.
I did an offshoot of that. And Pete, by the time Pete started teaching me, he had already kind of like, I know modern Arnis is a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So keeping that in mind, pardon me. He, by the time he was teaching me, he had already veered far off from what he had been taught. And I kind of veered far off from what he was teaching too. So when I was officially brought up as an instructor, he was calling it AKI, Arnis Kali Ithaca. So I guess that's what I was ranked in.
Okay, all right, but so we know that was modern Arnis, and so you started doing that 91, and you continued doing modern Arnis through how long? About?
Well, I don't know if I ever did modern Arnis in the sense of what anybody else would say. Oh yeah, that's modern Arnis.
Okay, so where?
So there was, I got from Pete what I got from Pete, and it may or may not coincide with what a lot of other people.
Yeah, it was all right. It got you in the door.
But at the same time, and I say this all the time. There's only, there's a quote from Dan Inosanto. There's only so many ways to move the human body, and everybody invented them. So the idea of saying this is swinging a stick, modern Arnis.
Yeah, I know. No, that's KI swing. That's not.
Yeah. No. That's So I try not. I'm not. I in general, I'm not a dogmatic person. So the idea of saying this is just rubs me the wrong way. So
no. Fair enough. And we got some folks saying we got Terry, we got Mike Raleigh. You know that guy Renee, right?
Oh God,
we got
again.
We got Boston. I'm sure enough he's good. But so what did you? I guess coming from Taekwondo, then you went into Kung Fu. Like, what resonated with you as far as seeing sticks? And I'm not sure if he gave you any edge weapon material and all that, but what resonated with you that you wanted more of this and, as far as this material?
I've always had a thing for weapons. I've always, like I mentioned, the Kung Fu movies, so the Kung Fu movie that cemented it for me, it's like, I want to learn this stuff, was Kid with the Golden Arm. Which is a classic golden arm flick.
Okay.
Weapons all there, long axes, short axes, swords, broadswords, sabers, whatever. And so I love that stuff. And my dad was a bit of an amateur historian, so we had antique weapons all through the house. And so I was always surrounded by that.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And I'd gotten some Kung Fu weapon training prior, so I was really pleased by that. And then I had Dan Inosanto's book I had everybody's book, but I had no FMA training at this point. I had okay, so he's holding the stick kind of like this. Okay. No internet, no videos. So, who knows what the hell we were doing.
Magazines. I know. I mean, I'm around your age. I graduated high school in '83. Yep. So, right. It was magazines. You know what I mean? So it was, so I guess so you're doing the stick stuff. What led you and how did you get aware or be exposed to Dog Brothers?
So
He says,
never a brief answer. Well, I mean, I guess it's better than a yes or no answer. But again, you know, we were talking magazines and pre-internet, and in the magazines they had Panther Productions had all of these, you know, stage ads. And I saw so I was training with Pete, and I was getting this FMA knowledge, and then I saw these videos about the Dog Brothers. What kind of cool. And I thought, what the heck? I'll get it. I'll order these. So I ordered the set. I got them in, and I thought, all right, well, I'll just watch the first one. I got stuff to do today. I'll just watch the first one, and then I'll go do it. So then I watched the first. Well, I watched the first like opening 3 minutes or whatever with Eric Naus doing this monster Corenzo, like just
I know, bouncing on the floor like an acrobat.
We've all seen it, you know, and he just starts ramping
timeless
up the aggression and the power and the holy cats, and then he finishes and he, you know, walks off camera, and I just thought, oh well, whatever I had to do today isn't that important, and I binge watched the whole damn series. So
yeah, I know that scene well. It's just like, man, you know what I remember first being exposed to them? It was in a magazine, of course. I'm probably Inside Kung Fu, one of them, Black Belt, whatever. It was a picture of Eric Naus standing over Mark like that. I'm just like, sign me up.
Oh yeah. As long as you don't identify as the guy at the bottom of the pack, you know, you're okay.
Oh my good heavens, what is he doing to that man? And then a couple of years later, I went to California to go see Mark.
Sweet.
So okay, so obviously you're enthralled by these videos and you're watching them and all that. So I guess from there, what led you to actually seek out somebody?
So the funny, so many years. Flash this up on screen, you know, many years pass. So the whole idea of like, geez, man, flying out to California to fight, that'd be kind of awesome, but I don't have the bucks for it. And so it was kind of one of those unattainable, like, yeah, that'd be cool, but it's never going to happen things. And then son of a bitch, we started having gatherings in Canada. So we did, we had, Randy Koklo and a few others developed Beat the Crap Out of Cancer, which was kind of like a feeder for Dog Brothers gatherings. You know, it was Dog Brothers Light maybe, and we went to that. You know, myself, I went to them. A couple of my students went to them, and we thought like, hey, this is kind of cool. And having talked to Renee about this, where he was saying like, if we can arrange this Beat the Crap thing, we can arrange a gathering. I mean, how much more is there to do? So all of a sudden they started having gatherings in Canada. First one in Toronto or Mississauga. And I was like, holy crap, I can actually do this. I can actually financially make this happen.
You're now going to Los Angeles.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm going to fly diagonally across a continent how many times to make this happen, to get the crap kicked out of me.
That's the thing. I mean, it's not that I thoroughly enjoyed the training with Mark, but it just logistically, it just
you know, and I mean, in life, there's so many opportunities, but there's only some of them that we can actually
attain and do. Yeah.
So, you know, there's probably some dude in the Philippines who would train the hell out of me and make me the deadliest fighter alive. If only I could, you know, fly out to the Philippines.
Get there.
Find him, you know, and you know.
So, all right. So you first went to Beat the Crap Out of Cancer. So, so really, I mean, it's not like the Dog Brothers, there was a Canadian faction of Dog Brothers yet. You guys did Beat the Crap Out of Cancer. That sounds like that paved the way to kind of maybe create an actual faction. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, yes and no. There was a faction, but it was very small. These guys were still having to go down to California.
Loki and
Loki, Renee, Tyler. There were 4 or 5 Dog Brothers, I think, at that point. Canadian Dog Brothers, and or candidates somewhere in the pipeline, and they had all.
And they were still had to go down there. Okay,
they had all gone off to the Holy Land, as it were.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden you had this ability to do it domestically, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is the greatest thing ever! Why don't we do this?" So we all did this, and it started in Toronto, and then we moved him out to. They happened out in Montreal with Sled Dog School, and then we had 2020. We had one in Vancouver, and then we had COVID, and nobody did anything. And this weekend we're doing it in Vancouver again.
That's right. Yeah, matter of fact, we have the Beat the Crap Out of Cancer here in Connecticut this Saturday, so that's kind of neat. So when you first went to the Beat the Crap Out of Cancer, so that, I mean, I'm assuming that's kind of what your first experience or first exposure to full on.
Yeah, I thought I knew what I was doing. I was at some point. There we go. Yeah, confessions from Badger. So I had been training for a long time. I'd been scrapping with my guys for a long time. We thought, like, okay, we're ready to do this. And I mean, we were, but at the same time, Beat the Crap on its own. Beat the Crap was quite the eye-opening experience. Like I met Craig Mason, had a fight with him. Actually, I had 2 fights with him, single stick and double stick. And there's certain levels of expectation that change. So, figuring out what does medium contact mean? What exactly is?
What is the percentage of medium?
yeah. I'll just calibrate that. We've discovered the better way to do that is you look at the people who are actually fighting and the guy that you're going to be fighting with. You say that sort of level or more or less. It's like, no, about that sort of level. Okay, we can calibrate with that for Beat the Crap.
That's right. That's the best thing, actually. That's a good point you brought up. Like, just watch what's currently going on and say, okay, do you want to go above that or do you want to go below that?
Yeah, that was one of those. Whoever came in our group came up with that. I was like, oh, that is it. Because I fought Craig Mason at one point, and we're going great, and we're at a good level. Like this is a good scrappy level. I'm feeling good, and then I hit him in the shin with a stick, and all of a sudden this just went like tack 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 tack. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy! What have I signed up? Oh shit! Yeah.
This is what. So this can't be that long ago. Am I correct? Because
that was 2012 or 2013.
Oh, wow. Okay. Matter of fact, Renee did mention 20.
Right. Yeah, this was the second. I missed out on the first Beat the Crap. One of our guys went.
So this is pretty early.
Yeah. So Rob Peaker, Cherry Dog, he went down there and he says, "You guys have got to do this." So we had a little caravan that went the next year.
So all right. So that first one, you got Craig Mason. What else was?
Well, I also
entertaining stories from that.
Oh yeah. Well. I've got some. So my second fight again. I don't know anybody here. I kind of know that guy. I kind of know that guy. I'm trying to find a fight. I'm not really good, and there's this one guy that my buddy Rob introduced me to, Chris, and I said, "Hey, Chris, no, you and me go for a fight." And alarm bells should have been ringing when he looked at me. He says, "You want to fight me?" Yeah, sure. Why not? So Chris proceeded to hit me in the thigh about 1 million times. I was bruised from hip to knee, and I stagger off after the longest 2 minutes in my life.
The longest 2 minutes.
Oh yeah. So how long can 2 minutes last? It can last a really long time when your
eternity.
Your thigh is getting smashed. So I stagger off at the end of it, and Rob says, "Did you just fight Chris?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "You weren't supposed to fight Chris. That's lazy dog." So yeah, He was a candidate. Well, he was just about to get full dog. He was candidate at the time, but yeah, he full dog brother just whipped the living crap out of me.
Right, you not knowing. You're like, sure.
Oh, sure, man. Oh, I got my sticks.
And like,
what could possibly go wrong?
Jeez. Yeah, just 1,000 hits on the thigh. That's all.
Oh yeah. But you know, everyone's a learning experience.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah. So all right. So
some of these learning experiences are get a detailed resume of who you're fighting before you fight them. But
before you choose to enter that.
Yeah. Do you have any interesting dog-related nicknames I should know about?
Yeah. By the way, do you have a nickname that starts with dog?
Yeah. Just putting it out there, right?
Just curious. Yeah. What So how many fights did you have in that first one?
In the Beat the Crap, just the 3. 2 against Craig and 1 against Chris, and that was plenty for me.
For that first time, you know what? I think I'm good.
The adrenaline, the level of adrenaline rush, even for something like Beat the Crap, I was not ready for just how much adrenaline you blast through. Yeah. And at the end of it, you're sort of like, I could sleep for a week. Yeah. Like you're just drained. There is no joy left in you. There's nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you, it's funny. I was explaining to somebody, I forget what show it was. I went to one in November in New York, and I think I wasted more energy. Like, okay, how am I gonna do? All right, who am I going? I mean, like, and then the first match, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why are you freaking like so tired? Yeah. I'm actually getting angry at myself. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah.
So then I go off on the sidelines, and what it was, everything after that just settled. I think I had to get it out of my system, and I didn't feel that fatigue. But those first 2 minutes, I was just like,
yeah. What? Why am I such? I don't understand what's going on.
Yep. I was so pathetic. I'm like, God.
Yeah, there's that aspect too. Like, every ounce of your skill, technique, intelligence, tactical awareness, whatever, gone.
Yeah, it's. I tell you, it's because you're. And here's the thing too: is like I don't like big crowds, and everybody's like.
That's it, right? Oh, sure, there's a lot of eyes on me. Oh.
So I had to that was something to get used to too. But I tell you, I'm so glad I did it because it just was so beneficial in so many ways. You know what I mean? Like being in a big atmosphere like that with people. And I'm not saying it's not by any means the biggest. I don't want to overstate it, but I think it's just so healthy in so many ways. You know what I mean? If you're interested to do it in that, but yeah, it's that first one, man. But after everything kind of just settled, I just didn't get fatigued as much. It wasn't so concerned about who's watching me.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So from the Beat the Crap Out of Cancer, what was the next stop as far as that goes?
The next stop for me was a Dog Brothers gathering. So I was at again, much like Beat the Crap, my history repeats. I missed the first one. I made it for the second one. And which was in Montreal. And I had just here's some ignominy for you. So I had just gotten over the flu, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to miss this. I'm good enough. I'm healed enough. Like, no, I'm not missing this. I got to go. So I go, and I had a knife fight against this one guy, Tim. So Tim was about half my age and built like Captain America. And I'm like, son of a bitch. And so for the knife rounds, they're doing 1.5 minutes. And I finished that 1.5 minutes. And like I said, I was just getting over the flu and I was exhausted. Like I was sucking air like crazy. Like I'm surprised I wasn't crawling off the mats. And I had a headache, like my head was just gonna, and I just thought, like, that's 1.5 minutes. I don't think I can do 2 minutes of stick. So my illustrious debut with Dog Brothers Gathering was one fight and that was enough for me. I was just like, I can't.
You're just overcoming, which, yeah, I mean, that's understandable. So,
yeah.
And that was, and where was that one held?
That was in Montreal.
Montreal, and that was second to third or whatever?
Yeah, it was like 2012, 2013.
So at that point, was Canada being recognized as having its own Dog Brothers? Still kind
of. So again, at this point, we've still got okay. Fast forward to right now. Now we've got, I think, 47 members in the Canadian tribe. I still don't think we're recognized. Everybody's like, oh yeah, right, Canada, right. Sorry guys, forgot about you. It's the Canadian thing.
I gotta be honest.
To it.
I thought you guys were. I thought it was pretty clear and evident that you guys definitely had your own faction.
Like, absolutely, and we do, and everybody knows about it. But Canada, in this and in so many other things, it's sort of like, oh shit, right, Canada. Sorry, we forgot you guys.
Yeah, it's overshadowed by the US.
Yeah, it's a national thing for us, as far as I can tell. Okay, we're going to be supporting this military effort with NATO, and Britain's supplying this, and France is supplying that, and shit, right, Canada's a NATO member. Sorry, guys, we forgot.
We forgot that you're part.
Yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, it's. At this point, so even now everybody forgets about us. But again, there's only 47 of us. So Canada's the Gen X of nations. It really is. Our parents, Britain's just like, oh yeah, Britain and France, our parents are just like, oh, let yourself in, make yourself a sandwich. But so at this point, though, the second Dog Brothers Gathering, we weren't. I mean, we were a faction, but we were a tiny little sliver.
But nowhere 47 as far as numbers and all.
Yeah. We had probably 5 or 6 by that point.
5 or 6, and people who just came, because this was more of an open, right, where anybody could come.
Exactly. This was an open one. So, I mean, and it was kind of funny because there's no firm, like, here's when you make dog, here's when you make candidate. There's no firm deadline. There's guidelines, and there's a lot of interpretation and a lot of dude had a ton of fights, but all of them were horrible. Like, picking people who are much less skilled than them, or the intensity was just kind of that person could have 100 fights and they'll never get anywhere because the quality of it.
Interesting. So when you went to your next one. Now, how did that go? No proofs.
So that time I had something to prove. So I was just there's no goddamn way I'm doing like I did the last time. This time we're getting serious. So I had and every single time I've gone to these things, and it continues up to this day, I'm shit scared. I have literally walked into the venue with my teeth literally chattering, like just someone to go. So I'm still terrified, but I was terrified, and I've been given some very good advice about how to get over that. And so I picked the biggest, meanest, scariest guy in the room, big guy, shaved head, cauliflower ears, and I said, "Let's have a knife fight." And he says, "Oh, okay, sure. How come me?" And I said, "Because you scare the shit out of me." Had a good fight with him. He was not experienced in FMA, so it didn't go nearly as bad as I thought it was going to, but got that out of the way. And then I had 2 more fights that day, one with Brett Sims, Gray Dog, and Brett's an amazing fighter. He's left-handed, but every once in a while he just gets tired of beating on you with his left hand, so he switches over to his right hand and beats you some more. Excellent. And I had a great fight with that. Got thumped around roundly. And then I had a staff fight against Wandering Dog, Sean Zerger. And again, so this is pretty early on in my career. I'm like, I'm going to fight staff.
Yeah.
I am both elated and terrified.
Yeah.
And so, funny thing. So Sean's a lot taller than me, and the staff that I had one, and I borrowed one from somebody else. Yeah. So the one I handed over to Sean was actually several inches longer than the one I had, coupled with his reach advantage.
Oh
So,
no.
onlookers had a report of, missed him by that much, sort of. Apparently was the overall theme of my fight. Like, I'm trying, and he's like thump reaching me across. So I got hit a lot. It was really good. But anyway, so we kind of end off the thing, and Sean congratulated me on the fight, and I said, yeah, my tactic of running like a rabbit really helped. And he stops and he says, "You don't get it, do you?" I said, "Don't get what?" He says, "I asked if there were any addendums to the rules, and most people say, don't hit me hard enough to break bone. And you didn't." And I'm thinking, shit, I didn't know that was on the table. Like,
I think they know that was even an option.
Holy cats, man. So, so I don't know. So I did a staff fight, and I got my arse kicked, but that was good too. So.
Wow. Now, are you trying to strive for, like, is this something like you want to become a dog brother? Had you had that goal at this time?
By that point, yeah. So I had kind of, my previous thing was like, it's this unattainable thing. I don't have the cash to fly out to LA.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, like, wow, these are happening in Canada. Maybe I can. Maybe. But and then once I got into it and I started getting experiencing these incredible adrenaline rushes and all of that amazing fear and elation and all of this stuff happening. I won't say that became a non-issue, but it became one of other issues. The fights themselves were suddenly the big motivating factor, which I hadn't considered before. I didn't realize how much I would enjoy them and how much I would strangely look forward to them.
So is it fair to say that you could perceive it as where it grows to like a healthy addiction, that adrenaline?
Healthy is a real loaded word.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've had a concussion. I've had a perforated eardrum. I've seen broken arms and fingers and ruptured Achilles tendon. So I don't know.
Seen people double.
Oh yeah, I've had the like just like taking a hit and just like I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna sit down.
Yeah, I'm just sitting down looks real good right now. So healthy maybe isn't quite the right adjective.
But just the adrenaline rush, maybe let's remove healthy, seeking out that adrenaline rush.
It's amazing and it's transformative. And I'm seeking out not just the adrenaline rush, but a lot of other things too.
Okay.
And they are, it's a tough answer because it's multifaceted and it also appeals to certain like spine, lizard brain, levels of consciousness. Like just, we didn't, we fought our way to the top of the food chain, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
Those broccolis didn't just, submit all on their own. We had to.
Yeah. So, all right. So at what point, I guess, did you become dog?
After my third gathering.
After your third gathering, they saw the effort. They saw you were committed.
I think, the way I kind of look at it, so dog, the introductory level, I kind of look at it as the okay, we've noticed you. Like,
yeah. Okay. You're on the radar.
Yeah. What's that guy doing?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Which is fun.
Yeah.
And some people they get there and they're just like, I mean, it was amazing rush for me. Like, again, because there was all these people who were in Canada who were suddenly being able to attend gatherings, and they all kind of made dog at the same time. There was like 12 people, and for whatever reason, I was towards the end of the list, so I'm kind of like, oh yeah, Amy, oh yeah, he's fantastic. Oh man, I saw him fight. That guy's great. Oh, cool, good, he made it. Good. And it's getting further down the list, and I'm kind of getting that feeling creeping in of like, yeah, well, maybe next year, right? And then my name gets called. I'm like, that's funny. There's somebody in the room with the same name as me. Like, oh shit, wait, that's me.
It is me.
Yeah, it is me. Holy cow! So maybe I should stand up and do something about that.
Wow. So that's that would make sense though. You had this influx of 12 because you guys are just kind of starting. So naturally you would, you know what I mean? So what was your transition from dog to dog candidate? How long was that?
It was another 2 or 3 gatherings.
Another 2 or 3. Okay.
Yeah. And so I don't know about other people's. Everybody's journey is different. For me, I actually felt kind of shitty. I made dog, and that was a huge accomplishment for me, and it was amazing. I was part of the tribe, and it was awesome. And then I had a couple moments in sparring and a beat the crap where I was sort of like, I got really down on myself. Like, shit, I'm useless. I'm never going to get anywhere. And I was kind of down on myself. And somebody gave me a gift that was, I don't think it was meant as a joke gift, but I kind of took it that way, and it kind of almost pissed me off. And I was like, oh, fuck you. I'm going to. So I started training harder and harder, and I eventually made candidate. But yeah, in between dog and candidate dog, I was perhaps not a pleasant person. Just because I was in a weird headspace on it.
Wow. We got
the journey.
Okay, first one was we got Renee saying first one was 2009. We got Brian Canada here, Harry Flexman, Steve Grody. Addiction is also a low to the world. How about I just really like doing it.
You go with that too.
Yeah. So okay, so this is so from dog candidate to dog brothers.
Yeah.
I'm sure am I fair to say that's kind of probably the longest gap as far as time?
It was about it was kind of a thirds thing,
Okay.
I mean, between my first gathering and becoming dog brother, it was about like a third of the time in getting to dog, a third of the time getting to candidate, and a third of the time getting to dog brother. And that was just how the numbers worked out for me. It just what was the gift? I'm not going to say, because it was not intended to be a joke gift, and it was not intended to poke fun at me, even though I took it that way, and I was a jerk about it. So I'm not gonna go further on that. And also, yes, it was Jesus, Renee, that was supposed to go to silence, dude. Yeah, some people. It was about a third of about the same length of time for me to get to dog as to candidate as to get to dog brother.
Okay, so during that time, obviously things are getting tougher, though. I mean, I'm seeing the quality of fights, who you're fighting.
Mm-hmm. Like when somebody says to you, Phil Shelena in this case, if you want to be a dog brother, you need to fight dog brothers, which makes perfect sense. But I was kind of laissez-faire about it. I wasn't like, okay, I got to be strategic. Okay, I should fight that guy, and I should this guy, and he's going to be there. Maybe I should send him an email. Yeah, I'm more like just like, hey guys, who's here? I got a stick here, and away we go. So the idea of actually being maybe not tactical, but being forward thinking in picking fights, like I need to fight people who test me and challenge me and push me. I can't just fight schmoes.
Right. Okay. Because that's what they're looking for too, right? I mean, as well as other things, they're looking for that you're not picking easy fights, that you're actually looking for tough challenges, you know. And,
And there's some people I've seen where it's like so and so's a really good person, and like a likable person, an enjoyable person. They're well trained. They show up. They have fights, but all their fights are sort of sort of beat the crap out of cancer level. And I'm not dissing beat the crap. It's a great venue, and I love what it's done. And I fought in so many of them because it was such a great time. But again, most people say, "Don't hit me hard enough to break bones." Like that. That's a quote to come back to on this one, because if you're worried about that, maybe this isn't the venue for me. And I am worried about it. I'm not like, oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Break my elbow.
But if that's a non-starter for you, then you're not going to be a dog brother.
Given to him by Splinter Group.
Wah, wah. Jesus, Dad.
So tough fights. Okay, so your transition, Dog Canada, Dog Brother. Any ones that like stick out that were just maybe the experience, or they changed your development, or you really improved that particular fight? Anything of that magnitude? Or
they don't tend to be like they're I mean, there's some standout moments, but they tend to be like you're looking for high level fighters. So everybody, what's that saying about a rising tide lifts all ships?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the same way. Like, I fought against this tough guy, and I fought against that tough guy, and this one, and they're all skilled, motivated, tough people, and each one is going to influence you and bring you up and raise you up. I've had a few where it's just like, wow, that turned one-sided in an awful hurry. Fought in LA in 2019, which is where I made Dog Brother. And again, you're trying to, these people don't know you. One of the requirements that the Canadians have for making full Dog Brothers, you have to fight outside of Canada.
Okay.
At least once. Go to Europe, go to the States.
Go to Europe, okay.
But the other parts of the tribe need to see you, and they need to say like, yeah, okay. Like this guy's on a level that we consider equitable. Or for you to say, okay, the training I'm doing is equitable to whatever they're doing, or that sort of thing. So we have some common sense, and also that other parts of the tribe can say, yes, we affirm that this person is of that level. So anyways, I'm in LA, and it's day 2 of a 2-day tribal gathering, and I'm really trying to make my mark. And it's the first fight, and it's knife, and I'm fighting against Dancing Dog. So I'm 5'8" and about 160. He's 6'4" and about 240. So it's sort of like if I was paired up against a 9-year-old, I guess. Okay, not quite, but and we're doing a knife fight, and he had this one that was made out of high density plastic, and it snaps. And so now I have a knife. He has a nothing, and I've got a knife, and everybody's like, get him, and I'm like, I've got an aluminum spatula that we're all agreeing is a knife. I'm not getting him. Out of your mind. And we're going back and forth, and the cameraman tripped, and I glanced back. I was holding my own. I was not getting completely swamped. I glanced back to see what was going on, and Dancing Dog took that opportunity to football tackle, just like grab me, slam me on the ground, yanked my mask off, and dropped an elbow on my face, super hard. I still maintain that is actually what caused the extinction of the dinosaurs, was that elbow and the giant meteorite. That's pretty much how it felt. And I had this moment of, oh my God, I should tap out. Like, no, just, and then the other part of your head saying like, no, just hang on, man. You're almost done. So That
Wow.
was a good fight, and my face didn't feel quite right for a long time.
My face didn't feel.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's just like, man, like nothing's broken on a broke level, but it was like things just ain't the same, So
Yeah, man. That's we got Morgan there, and then here's Renee saying something very nice about you.
Yeah, Renee's been big help, big part of our growth. Always been supportive, always getting out there. We've had him up to Ottawa a bunch of times for seminars, and so the connection between our groups is
Oh, that's good. That's nice to hear. Yeah, he's that's awesome. So, okay, so obviously there's people might not be aware, but there is a Canadian chapter. It looks like it's growing. You're quoted 47 or so. And you guys got something coming up this weekend, right?
We got something coming up this weekend. So it's a combination tribal and open gathering.
Oh, combined.
Yeah. So open is show up. If you're a person of good spirit, just show up, sign the waiver, find some fights. And then tribal is you have made a dog candidate, dog brother, or somebody a full dog brother has said that we should see this person. This person is a person who I expect we will be seeing more of.
Gotcha.
And maybe we should encourage them, and so sometimes they get invited into attending a tribal gathering as well. So that's coming up this weekend. I'm terrified, as always.
Yeah, I think that's healthy, though. I mean, to go.
It absolutely is healthy. So let me get this straight. I'm going to walk into a room. I'm going to wear as little protective gear as possible. Again, like we don't. If you walk in and your gloves are too armored, too protective, we will say those are a little heavy for a Dog Brothers gathering. Or, you've got the elbow pads, but they're like a hard shell. It's like, dude, no, it's not happening.
Okay.
So it is not a normal or good thing for me to walk into this room like, all right, we're going to go do this. This is a stupid thing to do. Let my life be a lesson to you, kids.
Yeah.
Cool.
He just he transferred you $50.
Yeah. So. Every time I say something nice about Renee, he has to.
So you check your account.
Yeah.
So what is your official dog brother name?
My dog brother name is Chili Pepper Dog.
Chili Pepper Dog.
Yeah. So we all get to, with some slight exemptions to that statement, we all get to choose our name.
Okay.
And sometimes it's you can't think of something, so you ask somebody else, and they say you should be so and so.
Okay.
Or you choose one, and all the dog brothers in the room are like,
no,
no, that's not happening. So in my case, Chili Pepper Dog, we talked earlier about how Pete Coates kept changing the name of what he taught.
Okay.
Every once in a while. So in 2004, with his blessing, I adopted the name of Siling Labuyo Arnis for what we did. So Siling Labuyo is the hottest pepper in the Philippines. And we thought that was kind of a good metaphor for what we do. Spicy.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah. So the red hot chili pepper of Filipino martial arts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you never heard the reference to the band, of course. Yeah. No.
There's a band? Oh. And I gotta Google this. I'll be right back. Yeah.
I'm sure you've never heard that.
I would like to assert that the Red Hot Chili Peppers cover of Stevie Wonder's Higher Ground is the best piece of music ever made.
Oh my God. I am with you. I'll never forget when I came out in like 89 or something. I was like, holy crap.
Holy crap. Yep.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I was a big Stevie Wonder fan, and this was just like, this is perfect.
Yeah, no argument there. No argument there. So what out of your journey thus far into this, and what you've experienced, trials, tribulations, what is so important to you personally regarding the dog brothers?
I don't know. I've gotten a lot of, there's this person has said, okay, you can teach my method, and that person and whatever, and I've gotten belts, and I've done this and I've done that, but getting to be a full dog brother was the hardest, single, absolute, bar none, hardest martial arts thing I've ever done in my life. Yeah, and just nothing even compared to the intensity of trying to get to this level. And so that's kind of captivating, like, I've gotten belts, and I've had, certificates, and this isn't that, and I've done seminars and all this sort of stuff. But, the idea that, I'm going to suffer a serious beating. I am putting a lot on the line every time I step out with my skinny little gloves and fencing mask.
Yeah.
So intensity is the reward there, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I give you credit. I mean, you're saying you're 5'8", 160 pounds.
Yep.
Thereabouts. And your guy, I mean, I'm sure you're going against like 226 plus two.
So yeah, I don't get to enjoy weight classes very much.
Yeah. I don't get the benefit from the weight class.
Yeah, like we don't do weight classes. It's basically if the person says yes, they'll fight you, and yes, they agree to fight you with whatever you're fighting with, staff, stick.
Yeah.
Away you go. And so a lot of other people might enjoy how weight classes function. But in this case,
I signed up for the welterweight.
Yeah. Oh, sir.
I'm in the heavyweight division. I was welterweight.
Oh, sir. Yeah. So, I don't end up on the good side of that too often. So, well, I guess I'm just going to have to adapt. I guess I'm just going to have to overcome a weight disparity, a reach disparity.
But it sounds like you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's. I don't back down, which is probably stupid of me, but.
Yeah. What
are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. What are you doing? Explain to the folks, the bond. Like, I'm not saying everybody. I don't know. I've heard without knowing. I'm not that there's some that necessarily are not the best of friends, but it sounds like overall there is a bond. Is that fair?
There's absolutely a bond. And there's with any group of people, there are going to be people in that group who you like more or like less, or do you grok with this person? Yes or no? Yeah. Will you go to prom with me? And we differ on politics, religion, and a thousand things that anybody can differ on. But we all have a uniting factor, which is dog brothers. We can all agree on that one. So, there's people that there's no at least Canadian tribe. There's nobody that I'm like. There's people I prefer to hang out with, and I'm sure they may feel the same way about me. So, but in any disparate group of people, you're going to have that.
Yeah, you're going to have the ones you gel with and ones that you talk to and all that. But absolutely.
Yeah. But when you get together and sticks start flying, well, that's all there is.
Yeah, at the end of it. Can you explain to the audience the whole thing about pushing one another to limits, but without breaking them necessarily?
Yeah, see, that's a tough goal. So the idea here is we're a tribe and we want to progress the tribe. We want to make the tribe better. And how you do that is you and pushing each other in our own individual journeys. So I need to push you to instill growth, right? Growth happens outside of your comfort zone. I need to push you outside of your comfort zone. But if we go too far, you get broken, and then, well, you're not making progress. In a sense of, if it's a physical damage, like, oh, I crushed your eye orbit. Let's just say I have completely destroyed an eye for you. Besides that, you are now out of action as a stick fighter. I can't imagine that you're going to be very good at, depth perception. So I have now broken you as a fighter. I have now broken your progress. But if I push you prior to that point, I have inspired you to greater heights and greater progress. So there's that fine line between push you make progress, and push you and like, oh shit. And that was
yeah. I think that's well said. Here we got a question in. This is from Morgan.
Yeah.
And his question is
someone that you did not. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. One of the amazing things about the intensity of the experience, for 2 minutes, you are trying to murder this person.
That's oh my God.
Right? Like, I'm not going in there and there's I'll add a caveat on this in a second, but I'm not going in there to have a tough sparring session. I'm going in there to hit you hard for 2 minutes and make sure that you don't hit me. I'm really swinging. I'm not trying to, tap you. The caveat there is if the skill disparity between you and me is sufficient, then that makes me a shitty, horrible person to do that. I need to, again, or earlier about pushing a person but not breaking a person. If the skill disparity is huge, then I can break that person, and that's just a horrible thing. So I need to push you. So I may need to scale it back a bit.
It's also frowned upon, isn't it? Like from the guy saying on the sidelines, you are teeing off on this guy that is pretty apparent that has nowhere to skill set you. Right? I mean, that's frowned upon. Right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, it is. Yeah. Like, we're here to make change, and we're here to progress, and we're here to make these amazing advancements in ourselves. And you don't do that by just whopping the hell out of somebody who can't answer you.
No. That's
not right. It's not fair. It is not the way.
Yeah.
No. There's the Tao of Dog Brothers, I guess.
Yeah, no. I think that's pretty incredible.
Yeah. There's I saw a really good kind of a litmus for picking your fights.
Okay.
So, and it was like, how do you, like I said, I tend to walk in like, I've got a stick. And somebody says, somebody needs to put that guy down. I'm going to fight him. He's just too cheerful. But they came up with a kind of an approach of they want to have a fight that challenges them. They want to have a fight that advances the tribe, so brings somebody up. So first fight, they want to have a fight that pushes them further. Second fight, they want to have a fight that pushes the other person further, and a third fight that's going to be fun. Like that guy he's got amazing technique, or he's so fast, or he's got just this weird Zen master Buddha calmness or something going on, and I need to experience that. I thought, okay, that's a cool way to do it.
I like that. Like
I still don't do it. I'm useless at picking fights, but I think it's a cool way.
I do like that. Like you choose somebody that's gonna, man, they're just gonna give it to you. But at the end of the day, you're gonna be better. And there's one that's gonna make the whole tribe better.
Yep.
And then when it's like, man, this is just gonna be a fun guy to fight, man.
Yeah.
You know, I like that. That's wow.
I thought that was a really good framework.
Man, I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I've never heard. Wow, that's awesome. um, what got you into staff? I love your staff videos,
You like this?
but like, what got you into it to where you went deep into it, where you're making tutorial videos and such.
So that dates back to my Chinese martial arts days.
Okay.
So staffs, is usually the first weapon you learn in kung fu systems, and it's always part of it. Any pole arm you learn, spear, anything like that, you're still kind of relating back to staff. So I did a lot of that, and I really, really enjoyed that. All the teachers, I've had a bunch of different kung fu teachers over the years, and they all had staff training, and so I got. I don't know if I got good at it. I got a lot of it. I got a lot of time in. I don't know if I'm good at it, but I got a lot of time in on it.
I don't know. Looks good to me. Everybody else.
And then in terms of the videos I've been doing, so of course, everybody's venues and training got turned upside down by COVID, and so I was doing a whole bunch of basic stick videos. Like, just, there's a lot of people who are cooped up in their apartments. They can't do anything. Let's just give them some basic tutorials. Like, here's how to do forehand strikes. Here's backhands, whatever. And I did a bunch of those. And I thought, like, okay, that's I've said it as much as I need to say about that. Pardon me. And then I was like, I was asking my guys, like, hey, what else? What should I do next? And somebody said, well, it's staff. I'm like, okay, I'll do staff. And same sort of thing. For people who are stuck in whatever venue, they're not getting to train with anybody, but also in a wider sense of just, guys picking up a broomstick and like, oh, check it out, I'm, doing bow staff. So I thought, there's a lot of people who might benefit from getting some nice, basic, functional, I'm going to stress that word, training with the staff. Because if you go to staff tutorial, it's like, check out these amazing 720 degree spins. You won't believe your eyes.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. I just want to teach how to actually use it in its weapon capacity.
I think they're well done. I mean, I enjoy them. I'm going to reference people, as far as your YouTube channel. We do have a funny here from guess who? I am okay with people getting beatings, especially if they're flapping those gums.
Yep. There's that aspect to it too. Like, if you walk into a gathering and start,
committing suicide.
Well, there's that just. If you want to tell me how badass you are, that's okay. You can tell me. But in a gathering, there's one way to assert whether you are indeed a badass, and that's to step out on the floor. And we've seen that. A lot of people have seen that, where somebody, mouthing on. I retract that. Let's not say mouthing off. Somebody has a very strong opinion about Filipino martial arts, and somebody on the other end, dog brother or whoever, says, that's awesome. Come to a gathering and show us. And it's not a challenge. It's not a, you fucking come down to our place, man. I'll fucking show you. It's like, no, seriously, you come here and show us.
Yeah.
If what you have is good, we will be impressed and we will respect you.
Awesome. So you're open-minded. Okay.
Yeah. And if what you have isn't good, but you still showed up, we will respect you.
Because you showed up. You stood behind it. Yeah. You can, right.
Yeah. There's a buddy I have in town, a gentleman named Max Renano, and he does Irish stick.
Okay.
And so, he showed up in Montreal, had a couple fights, did really well. And dude's my size or maybe a little shorter than me, so it's not like he's muscling around in the joint.
Yeah.
But he went in there, fought with Irish stick, fought tough guys. Yeah, I'm totally on board for that. That's
Was he the Doyle faction or the other faction?
Antrim Bata.
Yes. I think I know you're talking about because I interviewed him, and yeah, it seems like he really goes outside the box as far as finding people to spar with it and all that.
Yeah.
And I had a feeling it was a guy that who you were referencing.
Yeah. He's a really good guy. Get along.
He
with
seems
him.
it. Yeah. So, all right, what can you tell folks as far as why staff? What are the benefits of training staff?
It's a lot of it
Besides
is
seeing this thing coming at your head that's going to take digits off your IQ.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, there's how to get better at blocking. Have somebody swing a staff. You, oh crap! You will block. I guarantee you'll be highly motivated to do so.
Yes, you'll be right.
Don't ignore this. Yeah, well, it's for a lot of people, it's such a big learning curve. And I'm, since I expect most of the people watching this are FMAers of whatever time, and it's like, we've all got like, a stick, stick knife is just an extension of stick work. Empty hand is just an extension of, we're all, and I mean it's not wrong, but there's nuance missing.
Yeah, there's consequence nuances there.
So you hand an Artemisidor a staff, and he's just like, well, this is just more stick, right? This is just double stick, but one stick, and then they find out, oh crap, it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
There's a lot of stick management and hand management issues that they had never contemplated, and all of a sudden they're a beginner again, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
We should all be big. We should all become beginners as often as we can.
Yeah, it's humbling. You know what I mean? It can be humbling, or should be humbling.
Well, it should be humbling, but also just, how many times have you swung a stick? Thousands. At what point did it cease to be a conscious effort?
Right.
And at that point, it's just like, yeah, it's like autopilot. It's like driving to work.
Yeah.
So you give somebody a staff, and all of a sudden their whole body has to, like, wait, hold on a second. We don't know anything all of a sudden.
It's kind of what I'm going through right now.
Yeah. And how do the shoulders work? How do my hands work? Well, why do I keep hitting myself in the knee? This really sucks.
Yeah.
I hate being a white belt.
Yeah, I mean, I love it, but I'll be the first one to admit it's been a learning curve. I'm trying to, and as far as, doing it and flowing with it. And what we got something here. The chance of seeing an injury in the staff are much higher than a stick. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. The ability to generate power just when, you've got a baseball grip on a 6-foot staff and you're just whoosh. And other dude, one of the things that makes it tough to block with the staff is there's a lot of options. Do I block with the middle? Do I block with my left hand? Do I block with my right? So there's a whole lot of, deer in headlights. I should block. I should really block. Oh God, it's getting closer. It's getting very big. Block staff. So yeah, people get hit, and they get. I mean, the nature of it is going to transmit more force in general, but also people aren't as good at blocking.
Like, what do you guys? So generally speaking, when you, as far as the staff fights, there are they 1.5, 2 inch?
2 inch. That's
huge.
That's a bit of power. I mean, first of all, let's separate between fighting with rattan and fighting with hardwood. When you're getting towards something of that caliber, that would be more like I am trying to hospitalize people or end them. And it's probably going to be hardwood, like as a fighting weapon. Rattan, you're probably looking at the most 1.25 inches.
1.25 inches as far as the diameter staff.
And that's a lot of mass coming at you.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's still scary. But,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So, um, when did, okay. So I know you alluded to before, you started teaching, you were teaching Kung Fu
Yep.
as well as you were teaching some of the modernist concepts and material that you got.
Yeah.
Status quo, what are you teaching these days?
Filipino.
Okay. And so
Pretty
is
much.
it, so you're just in the FMA lane, just teaching
Oh
that.
yeah. Yeah. So I'm not a dogmatic person, and
Mm.
Chinese martial arts, this is the way. There's no sort of like, oh, kind of horse stances. Well, are you comfy? Your legs hurt. Well, maybe we should, maybe horse stance isn't for you. Try something else. Have a cookie. Chinese martial arts is, this is the way you will do your horse riding stance. There is no deviation until you get to the next teacher who says, no, that's completely wrong. Do it this way.
Okay.
But it's very dogmatic. It's very much, your hand is like this. It is not like this. It is not like this. You can do this, but don't do that. A lot of rules. And I'm not a rulesy kind of guy. Whereas Filipino martial arts, I mean, there's some that are much more like, this is the structure you're going to take.
As far as rigid or staying within the lines.
Yeah, some of them it's going to be, no, I have a very specific lesson to teach you, and it needs to be taught in this manner. But for the most part, comparing stance, right? Okay, well, feet about shoulder width apart. Put one foot back a bit, bend your knees. Okay, that's good. It's comfortable. You can move in any direction. But it would be like somebody in a basketball coach telling you, this is how you stand.
Yeah.
No, they're interested in, can you make this
move? Yeah, regardless of like your height, weight, and all that. This is how you stand. Yeah.
Can you move around the court and function as a basketball player?
Yeah. Right.
So 2004 is when I announced kind of the birth of Siling Laboyo, and I stopped. I had some private students who were finishing off their Chinese curriculum for a bit, but yeah, I just said like that. We're just doing Filipino. So.
Wow. So within the lens of you teaching FMA, are you primarily as a DBMA? Are you doing Dog Brothers material, or just all the accumulation of all your experience throughout the years?
Oh, accumulation. I'm not. So let's DBMA, Dog Brothers Martial Arts, is a specific curriculum developed by Crafty Dog, Mark Denny,
yeah.
as opposed to Dog Brothers
with the fighting group,
which
gotcha.
is whatever.
Two different things.
Yeah, okay. and I wasn't really clued in on the difference too for a long time, so I always figure it's not a bad idea to clarify on that. And me, I will steal from anyone. And then claim that we've had this technique for 1,000 years.
That you've had it for 2 decades now, and they're talking nonsense.
Oh, you're finally coming around to Hubad, eh? We had Hubad back in the 1500s. Something like that. I know. Okay, but yeah, so we'll steal from anybody, and I mean anybody. I've done my capoeira group kind of was another victim of COVID, but I did capo for a decade or 12 years, something like that. And
oh, really? How fascinating.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Just an amazing art to enjoy. But we don't block in capoeira. You don't like somebody, trying to roundhouse you in the head and you cover it or whatever. Yeah. It's all on avoidance. And you might think, well, oh, you're going to do a cartwheel in a stick fight? No, but I am going to avoid. You can't block everything, and I can't avoid everything, but maybe with blocking and avoiding
combined.
Yeah. And just for me, it was a greater appreciation of footwork and floor space, and moving from A to B, and getting out of tight situations. And so
interesting. I've never heard that count. I mean, that's really interesting, because my next question, which you've kind of partially answered already. The benefits that you found, from incorporating in your actual fights, and you kind of touched upon it already, combining the avoidance with the blocking. I mean,
yeah. Like, we were talking about how hard a staff hits. Well, you can't block them all. Staff is also funny because, again, for Filipino martial artists, because we all know, like, oh, I've got my defensive triangle and all this. Doing the same defensive stepping with a staff as you do with a stick, you're still in range. Right? Like, I'll sidestep, wham, ow. You know, you took that great big sidestep, dude can still hit you. So being aware that you're still in range and that you do not want to get hit with that staff.
Force multiplier. That's the thing. That's just coming.
Oh yeah.
True, man.
And I mean, I've had stick fights where. What's that?
No, go ahead. You got stick fights when?
Oh, so I've had stick fights where, you know, right off the bat, first thing to do, like, so we tap sticks to start, and first thing off the bat, they just let off a hellacious backhand, and you hear this, whoosh, and you're just thinking, like, okay, I'm good, we're done.
I think about the intimidation factor, like right off the bat, like you were just sending air in front of their face, or you rip one by their knee. Yeah. I don't care who you are, man. Yeah. You're like, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, shit got real all of a sudden. You know, like you knew it, but all of a sudden, all of that, you know, I mentioned, you know, lizard brain, back of spine stuff, all of those survival things that have existed since we were, you know, our ancestors were one-celled whatevers. All of that says this is a really stinking bad idea. So yeah, you move a lot faster, I hope. But yeah, you hear the sound of that, and it's just, I'm going to dodge now. I'm going to keep dodging.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you feel it, man. So with regards to your students, like, you know, it sounds like, again, your curriculum's kind of just, you know, what you steal. No, just kidding. No, just kidding.
It is.
So how do you introduce sparring to your students?
That is on day one. Okay. So the way we do our approach is very undogmatic, and so we work with three principles. We term under aliveness, real-time action, resisting opponent, and unrehearsed actions. There we go. So it's, you know, and we can scale any of these three up or down. And so, I've got somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. It's their first class. Yeah, you're not going to open up on them. We're going to let's take the time down a lot. Let's take the resistance down a lot. Let's make it much more into a rehearsed action. And by rehearsed, I mean we're limiting what factors. Like the very first time you give somebody a stick and you say, okay, you're going to swing it at me. Don't worry, I'll block. And every beginner's like, except I guess Renee, who probably tried to take their head off. But people are like, oh God, you know, like, oh shit, because we don't want to just club this person for no reason. So you tend to like, you're really softballing. So what I do, just to get people past that dilemma and that barrier, is they just tap you on the shoulder and on each hip. And they're just trying to tap you. They're not trying to break ball, right? But like tap. They just have to reach out and tap. And then we put a little randomness into it. Okay, you can do that in any order. I'm going to move around the room, and you're going to have to chase. And then we can introduce blocking to it, you know. And we don't have to be like, okay, here's precise methods of blocking. Just put your stick in the way.
Okay.
Put a barrier between his stick and your shoulder. And you get two beginners who, you know, 10 minutes ago were like, I'm terrified.
Yeah, right now we're actually making, okay.
This is an achievable goal. I can tap you on the shoulder. I can tap you on the hip. I can put my stick in the way so you don't tap me on the shoulder. They're now sparring. It's a real, you know, base level, but it's sparring. It's unrehearsed. It's limited targets, but it's unrehearsed and it's spontaneous, and they get to move and they get to swing a stick, and there's your sparring.
Wow.
And we just build up and up and up and up from there.
Up and up and up from that. Okay, that's clever. Wow.
But yeah, that's, first class. I want to get people doing some sort of sparring thing in their first class, right off the bat.
I like that. Wow. And it seems to resonate with them. Have good feedback.
Yeah, well, it's the feedback is in the fact that they can do it. Like, again, if you just say, okay, we're going to learn how to block, and like, just a regular old roof block, and you say, okay, I want you to swing and hit me here, and they won't, because they have a natural aversion to just clubbing somebody. So trying to get them to give you something that's you can legitimately block is tough. So we need to get past that social opprobrium and get to a point where they realize, like, okay, no, I can swing this, and the other person has the ability to stop it. And we build and we build and we build. So yeah, the feedback is that it works. The feedback is that they get to the point where they can throw sticks and swing sticks like we want them to.
And like you mentioned, in gradual increments, you continue to go up and up.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't serve anybody to just say, okay, I'm going to swing this as hard as I can. Well, maybe serves the person swinging the stick, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what they're facing.
We got another question
in relation to long arms. I've done a little bit of Mark's DBMA staff material, let's say. I've done a little bit of it, and so okay. It's not the approach I take. Doesn't quite work for me, but the awesome thing is, it doesn't have to work for me. I haven't seen anything about long arms. I haven't done a deep dive, so I haven't come across that particular bit. So I plead ignorance.
Yeah.
On so many.
So what do you? So as far as your students, I mean, like in their journey, what do you? Because you sound like, I mean, you're pretty relaxed, freedom, and all that. Like, what do you try and instill in them, as far as like whether they want to become a dog brother, or maybe they're just getting out of the house, they enjoy this, they're doing something that they would normally not do.
Yep.
Confidence is going up. Maybe it's health factors, whatever. Like, what do you?
Well, again, there's the big 6 reasons that people take martial arts, and it's not the only ones, but they're the big 6. And let me see if I can get this on the first try. Fear, fight, fitness, friends, fad, fashion. There we go. Yay me.
That's good.
Yeah. I should put Post-it notes down here and just pretend.
Yeah, I wouldn't have.
Fight. The ability to fight, wanting to fight. Like, I want to be a competitive athlete. I want to. I wanted to. I want to go to a kickboxing gym and bam, 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 hit. Not everybody wants to fight. Some people are there for the fitness. I tried the gym. Gym's boring. Zumba classes, whatever. Lifting weights, got tired really fast. But martial arts sounds like something that's going to engage me. So I'm here for the fitness. Awesome. Well, let's incorporate them too. They can be part of it. So I've got, what have we got now? 4 guys in my group, myself included, are full dog brothers. We've got one candidate and 2 dogs, I guess.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which, it's not bad for a tiny little group.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, my thought on it is, if you want to do something like this, and we've had a bunch of our students who've fought in 1 or 2 gatherings or more. If you want to do this, I think we can prepare you for that. We obviously have, we can point to our success in that we've been able to train dog brothers. But if you don't want to do that, which is also acceptable, we can take the lessons that we have learned from that venue and bring them back to you.
Like that, yeah.
So
you're not shutting them out just because they want to become a full dog brother, but yet there's some benefit they can still get from your guys' experiences.
Yeah, I don't have a need for everybody to be a cold-blooded, killer. Like, come on, man. We're all hobbyists.
At the end of the day, I think people lose sight of that. You're
Like,
so right. We're hobbyists, 100%. We're not going to battle in the jungles.
I have a day job, like, which doesn't involve assassinating people. Full disclaimer. You can just edit that out. We're not live, right? Like, I can just
I'll just
blow my cover again.
No.
I gotta
But
call
you're so right. I think that gets forgotten about. Like people are, like you see the rigs and the camouflage and
Yep.
like, yeah, we're not going there, man.
Yeah, like I love martial arts. I've been involved in martial arts for 40 years.
Yeah.
I got crap all over the damn apartment. I'm wearing it's like, oh, pull out a t-shirt in the morning. Oh, it's martial arts related. How surprising.
Yeah, I know. Same here. Yeah, it's like it's the majority of my t-shirts. I mean,
exactly, right? But we're hobbyists.
Yeah, at the end of the day, 100%. Some do it a little more extreme, some not. But at the end, we're all in that category, right?
Yep. Yep.
We got a question here from Emmett. Did he find that the practice really helped unlock and deepen understanding of his CMA weapons training?
Absolutely, 100%. The problem with doing Chinese martial arts often only gets expressed as the forms. Okay, either you're going solo and you're swinging a staff through the air and it's whatever, or you're doing a two-person form and it's prearranged, whap, 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 clack, clack, swing, dodge, miss, parry, thrust. But neither of those is necessarily fighting. And there might be a lot of really, really good, martial material in there, but really understanding what you're doing, you need to go further and you need to go outside of those forms. You need to say, like, okay, I'm going to swing this staff against a resisting opponent. And again, we can scale that up and down, whatever the person is ready for. And you understand, in that form, when I do this block, I note that I need to do more like this, or my foot is exposed, or my stance is such and such. So yeah, real-time experience absolutely will broaden your knowledge of what these teachers from the past are trying to preserve and send to you. They're handing you a manual and they're saying, learn this, and you're like, I don't know if I'm really getting what you're teaching.
Yeah.
And it really informs what the point they're trying to make.
Awesome. Future plans for you and your system, like what are your goals future? I mean, now that we're kind of getting or hopefully past COVID. I mean,
yeah, really. I want to get back to. I'm already teaching. I'm teaching again, and small group, and I'm enjoying that. I've got some students who've been with me for more than 30 years, so they obviously they're getting something out of it. But and I want to basically, I want to help them with their journeys. I want new people to come along, and
sure.
We all get to experience the ride together. That's the goal. The goal is to just keep doing that. I've got a bunch of students who are teacher level. One of my guys, Rob Peaker, Cherry Dog, is off. He runs his own group as well as training with us.
Okay.
So I like that. That's the goal. The goal there. I don't have any lofty goal. I don't have any, when we reach, our international organization will split into
with our 1,000 branches.
Yeah, and inside every branch is a tinier branch. We're gonna have heads on every continent, including Antarctica, and class attendance for him is not good. I'm just saying.
Typo.
I'd like to see Badger start some sort of Tybo type staff video. Oh, challenge accepted, brother.
I will be doing Tybo.
Oh,
Man,
yeah, baby. But yeah,
that's
I don't have any goals. My goal is to just keep teaching and enjoying getting
that's a
better.
goal right there. Hey, that's to me that's a great one, right? Keep doing what you love and share it, right?
Yeah.
So, in our wonderful community, what changes would you like to? I can't even say this with a straight face. Oh my god! In our wonderful FMA community, what changes would you like to see for the positive?
You know, it's kind of funny watching some of the arguments and some of the people can be very, very tightly wound about what they perceive as their territory. Um, so seeing some of those people just relax a bit, like, no, dude, again, we're hobbyists. It's not life or death. Just relax. Um, some of the things that there's a lot of barriers that have been dropped in terms of our ability to communicate with each other. Like it used to be you'd only be able to talk to the guys in your neighborhood or whatever in your immediate group. Maybe you have a newsletter mailed out. So for the younger generation watching this, there was a previous era where the internet didn't exist, and we used mail or telephone. Sometimes we'd have to talk to people in person.
We would actually have to talk to one another.
Yeah. Anyway, so so our ability to communicate, our potential to communicate is unparalleled with any other time in our history, and I'd love to see us being able to use that in a positive manner. And I love seeing a lot of connection between groups. Like again, we have Renee come up all the time for seminars, and he's really close with us. And there's a HEMA group in town that we have a really great connection with, and I'm told HEMA guys have their own political disputes, and about which historical source and Italian versus German or whatever else. But they look at us and they're just like, we're outside of that, right? We don't have any beef on that. So they're like, come to my arms, you like to hit hard too? Awesome.
Yeah.
So, the connection there between two groups that have never been connected before, HEMA and FMA. So my positive, and it's happening in many ways, but my hope for positive growth is positive communication, open, frank discussion, and a lot more getting together. I've got so friends of mine have a campground. It's 110 acres. It's beautiful, and they don't get all weird if a bunch of guys with live blades are on site. Like my guys. I don't know about if just people wandered on. So we do training camps twice a year, and I would love to do. Well, first of all, I'd love to have other people come from outside of our group and hang out with us, because it's training all day and then sitting around the campfire and shooting the shit at night, or even just, hey, let's just have do a weekend where it's FMAers of all different stripes come in and just chill, and we, if somebody wants to say like, hey, let me show you this drill we do that you guys might not have seen, and everybody like jumps up and like, oh, hey, that's really cool. It's been in my system for 1,000 years.
I've seen that.
somebody does that, he gets drowned in the lake. That's it. But yeah, why not?
I totally agree. I think though I've seen some evidence of this. For absolutely, the cross training. There's the cross instructionals on Zoom. Getting two teachers from different styles. I think it'll continue. I hope it does. But much to your point regarding communication. There's no excuse for it. Look at what's literally at our fingertips.
Yeah. Like seriously.
So what any final thoughts or to the lovely audience, or to maybe Renee in particular, or He's saying
I'm not saying anything to Renee.
hey, stop calling your sparring fighting for starters.
Yeah, I get where he's coming from. Be aware of intensity. Like if you are, again, the world is a big place, and whatever martial art you want to do, awesome. If you want to be one of the weak half guys who have the padded jackets and the lighter sticks or whatever, and blitzing like crazy, so fast, awesome. Why not?
Yeah,
but
it makes you happy.
Yeah, but there's a very palpable difference between that and Dog Brothers.
Yeah.
And maybe we're getting all check out how awesome I am and trying to lay claim on the term fighting, but I'm gonna say there's a case for us being fighters.
Yeah.
There's my divisive statement.
No.
Can't we all just rally around and be happy that we're fighters and you guys aren't? Oh shit! Renee, look what you're doing to me, man! Making me into a horrible person.
This influence that he has on you from just being, in the audience, huh?
Jeez. What am I? Whoa! Things I say. That's horrible. I blame Renee.
Yeah. Well, this has been a lot of fun. I appreciate you coming on. My only request would be to you, if you have the time and the desire, would be do a quick bit on the staff. I think folks would really enjoy that. So.
Yeah, so that's funny. So Dean says, "Hey, Badge, I'd really enjoy if you'd do a quick bit for me. I like the staff work." So I sent him something completely different.
Drawing a sword.
Yeah. And you could tell he's being gracious. Like, thanks, man. God damn that.
So much. Oh, appreciate the time and effort you put into that.
Give me a hug. So, for you being so gracious, I absolutely will do a quick bit on staff.
I think the folks will love it. So, yeah,
might be Tybo, might not be. Can't get.
Hey, even it's Tybo. If there's a staff in there,
as long as there's a staff, right? Fine, I'll do it.
Well, awesome. But thank you so much again for coming on. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So, all I gotta do is download this, and I will definitely put it on your wall for you to see. It'll be the YouTube version.
Sounds great to me.
All right, Badger. You take care.
You take care of yourself. It's been fun.
All right. Thanks again. All right, folks. That wraps up episode. I lost count. 374. Who was next? Actually, another Canada guy. Not by choice. Kevin Go, Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Yes. I'm trying to just making sure I'm correct that there's no in between today and Kevin Goat. And I don't believe so. But at any rate, Kevin Go, Friday, 4 p.m., which will be episode 375. So all you that jumped in and watched, I appreciate it. Thank you. You've not seen... No, I have not. Billy Blink's Cardio Collie. There you go, Emmett. There's a program for us all to purchase. All right, folks. Thank you to all who jumped in, watched. And if you're not doing anything, 4 o'clock Friday, you're going to come hang out with me and Kevin Go. All right.